Officially the first billionaire to travel to space. Sir Richard Branson, along with 5 others, took off yesterday on his galactic rocket plane.
Yeah, they flew 50 miles above the Earth to the point of weightlessness before gliding back and touching down safely. This historic trip is likely to open a new era in human space exploration.
Joining us this morning, our favorite astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Nice to have you back on Good Day New York.
Hi guys, good morning. Good morning.
So tell me how this is, explain it to us, how this is a turning point in Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I think it's not a turning point technologically, because we've had suborbital flights ever since Alan Shepard in 1961. So what's going on here is, first you have a suborbital flight that's in a space plane, so that it doesn't plunk itself down in the ocean and get fished out by an aircraft carrier. It has wings, and so when it's done its sort of suborbital thing, where you get your few minutes of weightlessness, then it just sort of circles back and comes and lands on a runway. And so very space shuttle-like. And that means you can reuse the craft and maybe create a business model for it, such as tourism. So this is really what he has in mind at $200,000 or whatever the ticket price was a pop. This sounds like they'll keep him in business for at least a little while. The interesting thing about it is the pricing is very elastic, so that if you can get it down at like 100,000, there are that many more people who would then be interested. Down at 50,000, 25,000. So there's an unlimited supply of people with cash who are ready to do this.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is limited to people who have a lot of, stupid money, Mr. Tyson, deGrasse Tyson. Anyway, so what will this mean now for NASA? Are they just sitting back and watching this happen? Are they going to jump in the game?
Yeah, I mean, there's an interesting sort of, so who's leading the race, right? So this is a race of billionaires to get a suborbital flight. Okay, but NASA, that's not of interest to NASA necessarily. What's really of interest to NASA is, if we need a ship to go to Mars, does anyone in the commercial sector have one? Oh, Elon Musk might have one, okay? And so in terms of NASA advancing a frontier, I don't see this doing that. But the more people who are thinking about space and want access to space, that can only be a good thing, because space is a place of unlimited resources. We're fighting each other on Earth for access to energy and rare earth elements and things. Those things are common in asteroids that are just blowing by us around the sun, or fresh water is on comets. So think of Earth as we're in a cave, and some people want to explore beyond the cave, and the cave elders say, no, you can't go outside the cave until we solve the cave problems first. Right? That's what it kind of looks like for people who say we shouldn't go into space. Space has it all.
Yeah, I do want to get your thoughts on that, because, I mean, I understand this was 16 years in the making, a whole lot of money into this, especially by Richard Branson. But do you think maybe it is just a little bit out of touch with the times? We are coming off a pandemic where companies like Amazon profited billions from that pandemic. Then we have this leaked IRS information showing that the richest people pay little to nothing in taxes. So I think maybe you would have a better response from people if you saw these billionaires race to maybe end world hunger, or collectively they could make college free or cure cancer. I don't know. I'm just trying to say, there's a lot more maybe that they could be doing.
Yeah. I think the problem, all the problems you listed, predate space exploration, right? There were poor people before then. There were uneducated people who needed education. So to say we now have space exploration, that's bad, we should look at these other problems. We had those problems before. So I'd rather think of it as, let's do both, okay? If you have enough money to fly into space, you also have enough money to try to solve the homeless problem. I think Bill Gates has attempted many such challenges in just that way. So I think what we should do collectively is appeal to them to also solve other problems. All right, and he's not spending his last billion on this project. All right, there's plenty of cash laying around.
That's true. Well, what about this? Because I know after he came back down safely and landed, he said that these.
Which is great, by the way. That's the most important thing, that nobody died. But it became that much more significant for publicity, because if he had his own skin, literal skin, in the game, to justify the safety of that craft, then who's not going to do it after that? So
yeah. No, he definitely made it a little bit more, I guess, imaginable and accessible for people that have that kind of money. But when he came back down, he said, okay, we're going to be auctioning off 2 seats for free, but you do have to donate to, I think, one of his nonprofits. Now, their goal is to democratize space. I want to know what that looks like. Is that like we got hotels in space, or what does that look like when you say that?
No, if you really want to democratize something, you have to bring the cost down. So I think what we mean by democratize as a modern use of the word is that anyone who really wants access to it can have access to it, and it's not just for the elite. So for so many things that are technological, when they first come on the scene, they're very expensive and only the rich people have them. We remember the movie Wall Street, where there's Gecko on the beach with his shoulder-mounted cell phone, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's cool. Only rich people had it back then. Now everybody, homeless people have cell phones, right? So to democratize it is to make it mass market. And what I can imagine is, even if the tickets are still expensive, you hold a lottery.
Yeah.
You pay $2, and there's a chance you get a free seat on the thing. Then that's an easy way to make all the money you need and have everybody participate in the access.
I like your idea.
I like that plan.
Now, how does Jeff Bezos top this? What can he do?
Well, so Jeff Bezos, he's actually going higher in the atmosphere to the sort of international, there are these layers where if you go higher than that, it's called space. Oh, by the way, you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you. Do you know how high up above the Earth he was?
No.
So if you take a
63 miles.
Oh, yeah, right. So take a schoolroom globe, and that's how high above it is he? So he's about 2 millimeters above the surface of a schoolroom globe. So nobody has seen the curvature of the Earth from that height. I just want to make that clear. Okay? That's where they were. So why do they call that space? Because you're high enough in our atmosphere that there are hardly any air molecules above you, so that the sky is no longer blue. All right? You have a blue sky because sunlight scatters. That's light scattered out of the sunlight that prevents you from seeing the night sky. If you go high enough, even in broad daylight, the atmosphere disappears and you can see stars in the same time in the sky that you can see the sun. So that's been the operational definition of space. Bezos will not be in an airplane from the plans that I've seen. You'll go up and then you'll have to be retrieved from where you land at your destination. So it's 2 very different modes. But he says he's got bigger windows, and it's that experience you're really looking for there. Meanwhile, Elon Musk is saying, let's go to Mars, right?
Yeah.
So that's a destination for you, rather than boldly going where hundreds have gone before.
Very, very exciting. Closer to Earth, Manhattan Henge. How do you explain that? And will you try to watch that tonight if the weather is good?
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, so I remembered, I felt so lonely 20 years ago when I felt like I was the only one who noticed this, or at least photographed it, and because it's for everybody. There's no reason why other people couldn't have made a big stink of this, but I visited Stonehenge as a kid, and I said, this is kind of cool. I wonder if I can find some alignments in Manhattan to make this happen. And sure enough, I calculated the dates, and so yes, it happens twice a year, and one of them is now, and it's it happens to coincide with baseball's All-Star break, which I thought was kind of cool. So future anthropologists will look at the alignment of the Manhattan grid and say, I wonder why they chose that date. Must be baseball.
Yeah.
I love it, which will be here on Fox 5, by the way.
Oh yes, excellent. Yes, the All-Star game, definitely.
So, Mike Wood seems to be, well, like 50-50 on the weather for Manhattan Hedge, because when's the best time to watch it?
He's yelling back there right now. He's yelling back there.
He's quacking back there.
Here's the problem. All of the prevailing weather patterns are from west to east. So it could be clear over New York City, but if they have late afternoon sort of thunderstorms, they come in from New Jersey. And Manhattan Henge, you're looking west to sunset at around, 8:15. And Jersey can mess it up entirely every single
Come
time.
on, Jersey. Come
I'm
on.
just saying. Well, talk to your weatherman. He'll tell you.
Definitely. Listen, we always enjoy having you on Good Day New York. And my daughter and I were talking about you yesterday. If you were our professor growing up, we both would have been astrophysicists because you make us
Thank you for that
excited.
compliment.
Yeah.
You know, the only stars I ever saw was when my mother got me after I came home late from a party. You know what I mean? Those were the days.
Oh, my goodness.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, all the best. Thank you so much for coming on Good Day.
Thank you. Keep looking up.
All right.